Welcome back to the Sports Perspective TV viewers and subscribers. As always, thank you for tuning in. In this video, we're going to be reviewing the action in the West Indies Championship so far. In the final round of the West Indies Championship so far, a few batsmen have scored centuries, and there have also been a few surprising, batting and bowling performances by some teams. So we're going to be reviewing that and also talking about the West Indies women in their series versus Pakistan. The first ODI started today, and we see where Hayley Matthews, Hayley Matthews just is doing what Hayley Matthews does. She scored a brilliant, unbeaten century. So we're going to be reviewing the scores in the match so far and also talking about Hayley Matthews. So just stick around until the end of the video and we'll cover everything. So starting with the West Indies Championship, the final round started yesterday, and a few batsmen have scored centuries. So Mikael Louis, who is the opener for the Leeward Islands, he scored an even century in their match against the Winward Islands, to lead them. He was the top scorer in the match, in their innings, and he led them to post a very competitive total. So the Leeward Islands, they scored 300 and an even 300 in their first innings, with Mikael Louis leading the way with 100 runs. Also scoring runs for the Leeward Islands was the young West Indies under 19 batsman, Joel Andrew. He scored a half century as well. So good to see him, scoring some runs, in senior competitions, and in the previous round he also scored some runs as well. So good to see that bit of consistency from the young batsman as he seeks to, develop his game, and in order to achieve his dream of playing for the West Indies senior team. Also scoring runs today was Joshua Dasilva, the West Indies wicketkeeper batsman. In the match for Trinidad against Jamaica, he scored 106 runs, in his innings, in Trinidad's innings versus Jamaica. And he was the top scorer for Trinidad as well. And as always, whenever I see West Indies batsmen, players that are in the West Indies team, scoring runs in the West Indies Championship or domestic competitions, it's always good to highlight it, and it's always good to see, as a fan of West Indies cricket, to see that, West Indian batsmen are, displaying some sort of form, and it was definitely good to see Joshua Da Silva scoring a century, even though it came against Jamaica, which, is my favorite team. It doesn't matter, West Indies is West Indies, and definitely good to see Joshua Da Silva getting some runs. Also scoring runs in this match was Amir Django, so his form in the championship continues as well. He scored a half century. He scored 51 runs to support Joshua Da Silva in Trinidad's innings. So Trinidad are currently 308 for 7 in their first innings, going into the to the remainder of the match. So good to see, Amir Django continuing his fine form as well, and hopefully, it will materialize into him getting a call up for the West Indies team, because he's been consistent all season. But we just have to wait and see on that one. Other notable performance in the round so far. We see we're in the match for Guyana versus the combined colleges and campuses. Akeem August, he scored a half century for the combined colleges and campuses. He's currently unbeaten on 68 runs in the match. The combined colleges and campuses batting first. They were bowled out for 200 runs by Guyana. So a brilliant bowling performance by Guyana, which was expected. And Guyana are currently 114 for 1, in their first innings reply to the combined colleges and campuses. Now to the surprising performance of the round so far, it would definitely be the match between Barbados and the West Indies Academy. Going into the match, I expected Barbados to, especially their batting, to put on a brilliant performance based on how they have been performing in the previous rounds, and that did not happen, right? So Barbados batting first in the match, they were bowled out for 153 runs by the West Indies Academy. Yes, just 153 runs was Barbados's total, which is very surprising for me, and I'm sure for a lot of other fans as well. That will come as a surprise. But the West Indies Academy, in my preview to the round, I said on paper Barbados should be favored to win the match, but the match is not played on paper, and the leading wicket taker in the championship so far is actually a player for the West Indies Academy, Joshua Bishop, and so even though it's surprising that Barbados didn't score more runs, I know that the bowling for the West Indies Academy, they have quality in their bowling. So, seeing them bowl out Barbados for 153 runs just, further goes on to show that, they have quality. And it bodes well for West Indies cricket and development, because the West Indies Academy is a development team for the West Indies. And so it's good to see them, producing quality bowlers, and batsmen as well. So the West Indies Academy, in reply to Barbados' total of 153, they are currently 111 for 4, heading into the remainder of the match. So we'll see how that match turns out. But so far, the West Indies Academy, they are definitely, leading and with their surprising performance, against Barbados. But the match isn't over as yet, so anything can still happen. Barbados can still win the match, because they do have quality in their batting. So we just have to wait and see how the remainder of the match goes. So that's it for as far as and the match between the Winward Islands and the Leeward Islands. That's a top of the table clash. Both teams have a good chance of winning the championship, the title. So Leeward's, making 300, and the Winward Islands, in reply, are currently 6 for 1. So we have to see how that match goes as well. But I did predict that match would turn out into a draw, but you never know with cricket, so we just have to wait and see. So moving on now to the West Indies women team and their tour of Pakistan. So the first ODI match, started today or last night, and so West Indies batted first, and they posted a total of 269 for 8 of their 50 overs. With captain Hayley Matthews, scoring an unbeaten 140 runs. So she opened the batting and she batted throughout the entire innings, as a captain should do, leading from the front. And Hayley Matthews has been a model of consistency, over the past few years for the West Indies, women's team. And just in cricket in general, whether it's playing for the West Indies or playing in franchise cricket domestically or overseas, Hayley Matthews has been consistent, both with the bat and the ball. So definitely have to give a huge shout out to Hayley Matthews. She was even recently named the T20 Player of the Year by Wisden Cricket. And that's not just for her performances with the West Indies. That's for her performances all over the world in the T20 format. So big shout out to Hayley Matthews. And now again we're seeing her do it again for West Indies. In this match against Pakistan. With an unbeaten 140 runs. So brilliant performance by Hayley Matthews so far. And currently, Pakistan are 142 for 7 after 30 overs. So it seems as if, the West Indies women's team will definitely come out victorious in this first match against Pakistan. And Hayley Matthews, bowling, she so far she's taken a wicket so far as well. But the leading wicket taker for the West Indies women is Ramnarak, the young Trinidadian spinner. A lot of good quality. She has great quality with her bowling, and she has been performing for the West Indies team as well. in recent years. You know, she's young, so she's still developing, but you know, you can tell that there's talent there, and she's performing for the team. So, you know, looking like the West Indies women will win the first match against Pakistan, to take a lead in the series. You know, so in Pakistan, the West Indies, they will be playing 3 ODIs and 5 T20 internationals, right? So this is just the first match of many to come for the West Indies women team, and I'll be covering, you know, all their matches and the results on the Sports Perspective TV. So so that's all I have for you in this video, viewers and subscribers. But as always, you know, thank you for tuning in, and do remember to subscribe to the channel, you know, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comment section. So just a recap, Joshua Dasilva and Michael Louis, you know, they scored centuries in the final round of the West Indies Championship so far. And Hayley Matthews, you know, she scored an unbeaten 140, you know, for the West Indies women in their match against Pakistan, in the first ODI against Pakistan. So so that's all I have for you in this video. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next